people. We had quite the turnout. Excited to see a lot of our partners, some of our existing customers. We've got a lot of internal members of our team on as well. And we hope that today we can bring you some value. Please know that we will send you a follow-up if you did register and you might have to cut out early. No problem. We will be sending you a copy of the webinar. For the duration of the webinar, everybody will be muted. It's going to last probably about 45 minutes, but at the end, we will open it up for questions. So, buzzword, of course, AI. Today, we're here to talk about OneCloud's AI agent, smarter reception, seamless workflows, and real returns on investment. My name is Ben. My role within the organization is product evangelism. I do customer onboarding, partner onboarding, a lot of different roles to help our customers better understand our products and solutions. I have been with OneCloud going on 15 years. It's been an incredible ride. Technology has changed so very, very much. And it's been great to be part of this team. There's a lot of innovation in-house. We've grown very quickly. And it's just, it's been an honor to be part of it. With that said, I do want to touch real quick on our agenda for today. I will open up with OneCloud, who we are. What do we do? What kind of an organization are we? We're going to talk about the hidden loss. What is the missed calls? What are these calls going to voicemails? What are they costing you? What is it going on there? Why aren't we fixing it? Easy ways to fix it. Why are we living with that lost opportunity? What about your front lines? So when calls are coming in, what is happening? What are the, some of the problems that are occurring, maybe peak times or things that are leading to missed opportunity, missed revenue, customers going elsewhere. We're going to talk about every call is cash. So we'll look into actual monetary values behind calls that are missed and actually break it down so you can see the value or average value per call. Talk about how we're going to fix it, speed, quality, and efficiency. Talk about our AI. And with me today as well is going to be our CTO, Sumner Robinson, to not only go over the agent itself, talk about the fundamentals of what we built, but also, give us a live demonstration of what it looks like. Now, who is OneCloud? OneCloud is more than just a UCaaS provider. At OneCloud, our mission is to build trusted relationships, tailored solutions, and connect business partners through innovative communication strategies in an ever-evolving digital landscape. I always love those last three words, evolving digital landscape. It is 100% true. In my tenure here, we've gone from on-premise hardware to cloud-based communications. Since COVID, everything has changed with the move to the cloud. And then with the innovation of AI, everybody is just running full force into it. At first, we were a little scared. We're not sure what's going on with it. And now people can't get enough of it. So, at our organization, we've been around since 1984. We've had a couple of different iterations over the years as technology has changed. Our primary objectives in the past were on-prem PBXs, structured cabling, overhead paging, things along those lines. And we still do live within that vein with our parent company or with our company Telware. But as technology changed and we moved to the cloud, we leaned more into becoming a software development company. And we aided in the transition from on-premise hardware to cloud-based communications. As an organization, we offer a UCaaS or unified communications as a service solution. We offer two different flavors of contact centers. We are a Microsoft Operator Connect certified partner. That was, quite an accomplishment for us to get there. We are a dial tone provider, so we can offer you any form of dial tone if you need it. We have POTS replacements. We are able to work in the mobile space. We have some faxing solutions. There's a lot of innovation that we've done. And I don't know if anybody's in the space right now getting rid of analog lines. It's kind of a pain point. So, we're always there trying to help people transition from that old analog environment and make it easier to get into the cloud. To talk real quick about the top 3 reasons that you're here today, we'll talk about fewer missed calls, faster answers. So we'll see how an AI receptionist can cut missed calls, speeds up that communication or speeds up the answering, how it does the transfers and handing off to human beings, either staff or to call queues, and creating that, making that a little bit more streamlined, right? So we're used to those auto attendants. Press one for, you know, for whatever, and hopefully somebody's going to pick up. We'll talk about smarter handoffs and bookings. So how we utilize things like intent-based routing to reach the right team, how we can incorporate things like frequently asked questions to reduce call volumes with those common questions, and some simple things, simple or as easy as just texting a booking link so customers can self-schedule. Then we'll dig into real ROI without ripping out your unified communications. So we'll talk about things like in-call actions, or sending links. We'll talk about sending emails after the call. We'll talk about triggering webhooks or utilizing tools like Zapier to integrate into your CRMs to create maybe some tickets, create leads, new contacts, or even potentially update calendars. So with that said, I'll jump right into what missed or rushed calls are doing to your business. I'd like to start with what's something that was cited by Forbes, which is 80% of callers sent to voicemail do not leave a message because they don't think they'll even be heard. I can relate to this. You call some of the bigger organizations and you end up in a voicemail. You don't have a lot of confidence in that, right? And your options are call back or find somebody else. So, there's a lot of hidden loss when it comes to a call that is either missed, or, maybe you're rushing through it, or you end up in a voicemail box, which leads to lost opportunity. Right. So missed or rush calls, it's meaning smaller revenue for your organization. You're missing potential to, grow capital for your organization, continue growing. You're dealing with peak time fallout. So somebody's calling in, that phone's ringing, they're in a holding pattern, and they're going to hang up, right? And this is, during those busy hours, we're talking about things like lunch rushes or maybe after hours. And those callers are either hanging up and, not trying back, or they're going to call somebody else who is open. And some of them might end up in voicemail, but, voicemail is a trap. By the time you call them back, they've moved on. To quote our vice president of sales here, time kills all deals. So when those calls end up into voicemail, their intent, or that wanting to buy, depending on what your vertical is, it's going to start disappearing. Friction to book is always an issue if there's no fast way to schedule. A lot of organizations, if you're calling in, you have to talk to a live person to schedule an appointment. So again, if I can't quickly schedule something and get something on the books, I've got a busy schedule. I need to get something booked so I can put it on my schedule and know where I need to be when. And that's no longer a variable for me to have to worry about. So if that's a friction point, it can definitely slow things down. And lastly, is a reputation hit. If I'm missing calls, I'm hard to reach. And if I'm hard to reach, you're leading to bad reviews and fewer new customers. So, I mean, those are definitely things that we don't want to deal with as an organization. So why do we keep living with missed calls? A lot of places, overflow feels normal, right? You don't really feel the pain from those missed calls. Busy is good, right? If you're busy and you're starting to miss calls, then that means you're still getting the business. Business is coming in. You're able to get the appointment scheduled. You're getting the revenues coming in. You're getting appointments and leads. So it feels safe. It's not that big of a deal. Hiring, it costs money, like a lot of money. So you have to deal with extra coverage. And if you need that extra coverage just to take calls, for example, let's say you got to hire somebody just to take appointments, you need a brick and mortar or somewhere for them to sit. So you need hardware, you need some software. It means more payroll, employee benefits, and more turnover risk. Right? And even if you're hiring somebody who's just going to be a receptionist, their ramp up time might be 3 to 6 months before they can actually be productive. So you're putting a lot of energy into training those individuals on top of everything else, and then they still have that potential for churn. Some companies will just use the team they have, right? So maybe I can use our sales team, our tech team, maybe some people at the front desk can grab those calls, and it feels a little bit cheaper than hiring. The only caveat there is that not everybody works within the same team. Right? We're pretty diversified here at OneCloud. We've got some folks in projects. We've got our service team. We've got billing team. Every single one of them is knowledgeable, but we may not have as much information as the next person, right? So sometimes there's that communal knowledge, and that could be problematic as well when we're trying to relay consistent information to customers. And the big one for me, and I think you'll see the value here shortly, is that nobody actually sees the dollar loss. Today, we are surrounded by KPIs, right? I want to see a graph. I want to see a line chart. I want to see some bullet points. I can look at, okay, we've had this many leads this month. I've had this many leads that were converted. This is my projected capital. This is my projected capital that I lost. And this is what's the true number. But with missing calls or calls going to voicemail, you don't really have a true metric to see that. So it's not that urgent. I guarantee if you took and put some numbers in front of your CEO and say, hey, this is what we're losing on missed calls, it would 1,000% become a priority very, very quickly. Now, what it looks like on the front lines. So the front lines are your people who are taking these calls day in, day out. During those peak call times, you're talking about lunch rush, after hours, your calls are spiking. Calls are stacking up. People are sitting on hold. Voicemails are piling up. I spoke to somebody the other day. They got about 900 calls in 2 weeks. 400 of those calls went to voicemail, and still they had to still go through each one of those voicemails and call those individuals back to confirm appointments or follow up on their needs. And your team's already stretched, right? So you're looking at employee burnout. Your employees start getting burned out. Their quality or care in what they do is going to start being reduced. And a lot of us, I work from 8 to 5. On my lunches or once I get out of work, I am trying to call and get certain things done, right? Trying to get some bank work done, trying to deal with the insurance company. I think many of us just went through open enrollment. As an employee, you can get burned out real quick. Repeat questions. What are your hours? What's the address? Do you provide this service or product? A lot of their staff is answering those same questions. They're basic questions all day instead of dealing with real issues. It's great to be able to answer these and be available to your customers, but sometimes it's nicer to have a more efficient way to do that. You've got things like manual lookups. Let's say you are sharing that load. Let's just say you are using the employees that you have, and you've got some salespeople and some, projects people and some account management people all trying to take calls. Not everybody has the same knowledge. So you've got a customer who's sitting there and they're hearing, oh, hold on, let me check, let me look into that for you. They're trying to hunt down information. They don't necessarily know who to transfer to, who handles that, and they're chasing the right person while your caller gets impatient. Confidence is always a big deal. So if you don't have confidence in a company that you're calling or that first impression, it definitely makes a huge, huge difference. Let's check something here real quick. Camera cut out on me for some reason. There we go. Let's make sure I'm still sharing. Not sure why that cut out.
That was me, sorry.
Oh, okay. Just making sure I was going crazy. All right. So you're dealing with manual lookups. A lot of times you're going to break the confidence of that customer. They're calling in. They expect you to know what's going on. They expect you to know them. And with today's modern customer service, that's an expectation that we can't really overlook. Now, while you're dealing with all these things, these peak call times, you're dealing with repeat questions, you're dealing with manual lookups, you're creating these bottlenecks in communication while your high value calls are still waiting. You're doing all that money's sitting there in the queue, or they are going to one of your competitors. So, we need ways to make this better and more efficient, maybe triage why these people are calling in and put a sense of urgency on it, or understand when a call comes in quickly that it's, maybe a hotter lead and to get it somewhere. What these calls are really costing you. This is a big one and quite enlightening. So I have a couple of case studies. For example, one of them would be an HVAC company. Temperatures change, it gets hot, it gets cold. They deal with call surges. A lot of HVAC companies, especially in the service area, they might have 2 or 3 people up front. They're going to put the mass of their revenue, capital, and things like that into their service technicians. So that's where they're going to place most of their value. Those are the people out, boots on the ground. I've spoken to some where, if the two people in the front office are busy, then those calls are rolling over to cell phones of service techs who are in the field trying to work on a unit and schedule an appointment and generate leads or book appointments. So um, that's a challenge. But if you're a 5 or 6 person business, or even if you're a 200 person business, being able to handle that more efficiently is huge. So with HVAC, let's say, for example, each call is an inspection, and each inspection would result in a $100 inspection fee. Average repair ticket, about $350. And let's say a conservative estimate of those people that you do an inspection, they might need a repair. 40% of them equals out to about $240 average value per call. If you were to look at 15 calls missed per month, get around $3,600 in lost revenue. Even 28 or 20 calls a month, you're looking somewhere around $4,800 a month in lost revenue. So annually, just just off of missed calls, you could potentially miss up to $50,000 in revenue. The one that was a bit more enlightening for me, and I didn't even really put two and two together until we really started digging into it, and we had quite a project and ramp up with them, is a pizza shop, right? These days, pizza, it's expensive, right? You're going to spend about $30 for a pizza unless you're getting something, let's say Little Caesars. It's okay, but ranch makes it better. You want a good slice of pizza, you're going to be paying about $30. So you call into the pizza shop, average order somewhere around $30. Let's say approximately 80. Everybody calling in is going to place an order, and 85% of any call that you miss would have ordered. So your average cost per call is going to equate to somewhere around $25.50. If you just miss at minimum 10 calls a night, you're looking at almost $8,000 a month in lost revenue. 15 calls a night, you're looking at somewhere around $11,000 in lost revenue. And then annually, you're looking at 6 figures in lost revenue just because you're missing calls. Now, we're suckers for some Pizza Hut, and I was at a local Pizza Hut not too long ago. Love some stuffed crust. That's one of my weaknesses. And there was a girl behind the counter, and she's trying to take orders on the phone. She's trying to hand out pizzas. She's talking with the kitchen in the back. She's greeting people when they're coming in. And I literally saw her take the phone and set it down and try to not take those calls. They are slammed, and they're trying to multitask and do a lot of different things. So not only are those calls that you're missing causing issues or losing revenue, but this person doesn't have time to offer upsells. What about our breadsticks? Our breadsticks are awesome. They come with the garlic butter and some Parmesan, a little bit of parsley on there. Does that sound interesting to you? Do you want some wings? We've got great wings. How about a liter of Coke or something like that, right? So not only are you missing the calls and losing that revenue, but your employees are so stretched thin trying to multitask that they're just trying to take the order and get them off the phone so they can move on. So there's a lot of lost revenue there alone. So how do we fix it? So to recap, what's happening is we're dealing with call spikes and folks are hanging up. We're trying to call people back. By then it's too late. They're either not interested anymore or they found somebody else. I can't quickly and easily book an appointment. Let's talk about an inspection or an oil change, right? Your buying momentum is going away. Your team is stuck handling basic calls and basic communication. Those high dollar calls are stuck in the queue with everybody else who might be just looking for some general info. And you could potentially deal with a reputation hit. So what if every call could get routed correctly, get an answer right away, they could place an order, book a time, and that's on the first call. And that's even, during outside of your normal business hours or even during your lunch rush. With that said, I would like to talk about OneCloud's AI agent. Now, AI can be scary, right? We all don't know, is AI checking my emails for me? Is AI spying on me? AI is really, really awesome, especially the way that we leveraged it here. AI can be your first point of contact. It can be, something that's just a failover. Some doesn't have to answer all of your calls. You can, maybe you want it to take some of the calls. Are some folks who maybe are CEOs of companies, they've got a personal assistant who answers calls for them. Maybe you could utilize it like that. So our AI agent was designed to be real simple. You don't need to be an AI expert. You don't need to know all these crazy prompts and things like this to get this up and running. You don't need to create some kind of crazy tree. Out of the box, it's super simple and can be up in no time whatsoever. And from there, it can scale. So if you want it to be more elaborate, you want it to integrate with things, and have a lot more power, we can certainly do that today, or do that as well. With that said, I do want to bring on today our CTO, Sumner Robinson. He's going to give us a live demo. He's going to walk through it, and he's going to talk about the structure of what we built. I would like to say that Sumner is an outstanding dude. I've worked with him for going on at least 12 or 13 years now. He was just recently at a technology conference called UGM in Miami and has won an award for his AI innovation in this particular product as well. So with that said, I'll get out of the way and let you take over, Mr. Sumner.
All right. Thank you, Ben. So I'm Sumner Robinson. As Ben said, I'm the CTO here at OneCloud. Ben just really went into the problem that we're facing with missed calls and inefficiencies within our work. And so what I'm going to do now is tell you a little bit about our solution and how we're utilizing our AI agent to solve those problems, and then show you a live demo of it. So when we started this journey, there were a few things that we established our AI agent needed to be able to do. All right. One, it had to be easy to set up. There are too many products that require an engineer computer science degree to get going. We didn't want to build an AI like that. We wanted to build something that any office manager, any call center supervisor can go in and set up and get running. Needed to make sure that it did not require any technical knowledge to get going or configured. It had to be set up quickly. All right. It couldn't be something that, took days or weeks of effort. It needed to be something that I could log in and I could turn on. And then with that, I needed to be able to see quick return on investment and an immediate impact to my employees. It needed to be part of the phone system. And that may sound a little odd to some of you, but it's real important that the AI agent can be able to act like you would expect a receptionist to act. It should be able to transfer calls. It should be able to see who's available and who's not available. And I should be able to report on it like I'm reporting on my users today. I don't want a new interface or a new way of going to look at things. I'm already used to certain reports. And so I just want to add the AI agent into those reports. Also, with it being an extension on the phone system, it is just an extension on the phone system. So if I need to put it in an overflow queue, or I need to route a inbound call to it, or I need to put it as an option on a traditional IVR or auto attendant, I have all of those options just like I would any other user on the system. It needed to work for both SMB and enterprise. So we needed to be able to, help out Joe's Plumbing, who's a single guy, a sole proprietor that is out there fixing your plumbing while he's taking calls for his next appointment. All right. While also, solving an enterprise need like Ben showed, where you've got 15 pizza locations and each one of those is potentially losing 130,000 a year. And when the AI agent handled these calls, we needed actionable data, right? So not just it took a call and then that was the end of the story. What happened with that call and how do we need to follow up with that call? And where is that information? So with the where is that information, we want to log the information into the tools that you're already using. So whatever CRM you're using or workflow tools, we will just load that information into those tools when an agent is done with a call. So with that, let me pull up our setup. So as an office manager or above on the OneCloud platform, you already have access to this AI agent tab. Once you log into your portal and you select the AI agent tab, you're either going to see a list of your existing agents or you're going to see a little getting started page. Either way, what you're going to want to do is click this Add AI Agent button. All right, that's going to bring up a very simple form. There's not a whole lot of data on this form that you have to fill out. So we've got agent name. This is just for your information. It is not necessarily a, a name the agent is going to go by, but you can do something similar. So, normally I choose a random name. An extension, again, just an extension on the phone system. If I want to call and talk to this agent from my OneCloud device, I'm just going to dial this extension. Time zone is very important for the agent to know what time zone you're in. If you've got multiple locations, you'll want it to give the time accurate to that location, not to the West Coast when you're on the East Coast. Company website. So here's where the magic starts. All right. So when we put in a company website, and after I click next on this, what is going to happen is our AI agent is going to go out to that website and it's going to pull in all the information that it can. And then it's going to sift through that information to decide what it thinks is important for it to handle calls. Now, while it's doing that, so you've got a lot of information on your website. You probably have, your C-suite maybe, or your board of directors. You may have, your products. You may have pricing. You may not. But it's going to go out and find all that information. But it is also going to go into the phone system, the OneCloud phone system, and it's going to look at how your call routing is already set up. So, if you're already a OneCloud customer, you have queues and auto attendance users already configured. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at that. We're going to see how calls are routing today, and we're going to train the agent on that as well. So, if you have this old queue that used to be for some product that you no longer support, but it's still in the phone system, the agent isn't going to transfer that there because it's going to see that no one's called that queue in a long time. Now we're going to put in a description. This is for your information. So, you may want to put something like main number or, what this agent is supposed to handle. And next we have site. So site's really important when you have, 15 locations all in different regions or all serving different clientele, and you don't want agents transferring from one site to another. So you're able to set which site this agent is for specifically, or just let it transfer to anyone in the system. Below that is our default routing. So this is, if you want to think about it like a supervisor for the agent, this is where it's going to route if it's ever not sure where to route. And what I mean by that is if you are the pizza location and somebody calls you looking for an oil change, well, it's obviously not going to know where to transfer them for an oil change because you're not going to have anybody in your system that handles oil changes, or you might be a very interesting pizza place. But you're going to want to put a default route. So this is where the agent's going to transfer at any time that it's asked a question that it can't handle. The default routing can be a queue, could be an IVR, auto attendant, or just a phone number, someone's cell phone. It's completely up to you. Next, we have the greeting prompt. The greeting prompt, what we'll see a lot of users do is they'll kind of copy their IVR greeting prompt or their auto attendant. And so they'll just kind of remove the press one and just say support for support. And while that works, it's really not the best user experience when you're talking about these AI agents. What we really recommend people do is put in a greeting prompt the way that you would greet someone when they answer your call. So, you know, that can be anywhere from "It's a great day at OneCloud," OneCloud, I'm your virtual assistant. How can I help you today? Now, you can make it long or short. One of the great things about our AI agent is if you have, a very long greeting prompt, and we have some lawyers who want very specific language in their greeting prompts, they can do a very long greeting prompt, but I don't have to listen to the whole thing. Just like an auto attendant, I can press one in the middle of them talking and skip that. So if I call into this lawyer all the time, I know what the greeting is. I just know I need to talk to Joe, the paralegal. I can just say, whenever it says "It's a great day," "Hey, I need to talk to Joe." And it's going to transfer you over to Joe. Below that, we have industry. So industry helps assign a persona to the agent, legal, technical, healthcare, giving it some guidelines based on those industries. And then we have voices. Our voices we support for the self-serve English and Spanish. We have many dialects of both. We also have the ability to do other languages as well as multilingual agents, but not in the self-serve portal. Once we're done, we just click next, and we'll get a nice little agent build in progress. We'll see on this page that it's going through, but we're not going to wait for it. Now, this process normally takes about 1 minute to 30 minutes based on your website. You saw mine went pretty quick. I used a pretty small website, but if you use a very large website, it can take up to 30 minutes. But again, making it quick and easy. So that's all you had to do to set up your agent. And from that point, we're going to look at one that was already set up, 6310. I could just call this number from my OneCloud phone. You'll notice after setup, we have several more options on the left-hand side, and I'll quickly run through those for you. The company information. So this is the basic information about our company that the agent went out and found. So OneCloud is a cloud-based communication solution that offers a comprehensive suite of services, including UCaaS and CCaaS. It found our main phone number, our support email, our address, and our website. So this is all information the AI agent is going to have to help respond to callers' questions. Next, we have our services. So you can see at OneCloud, we offer a lot of services, and it found a lot of them. So at the top, we've got our AI agent, we've got Secure Fax, our wellness check application, our CX application, Microsoft Teams calling solutions, SD-WAN, et cetera, et cetera. And we can see descriptions. Now, great thing about this, it went out and found all this information, but if I don't like something in it, I just change it. I can, add additional information to anything that I want, 24/7, 365, and just continue to the next page. So here we have products. Some companies differentiate between their products and their services. You may or may not fall into that boat. We give you the option, so you can have different products than you have services, or you can put everything in the same. We have a little bit of separation here. So, while most of our products are services, we've listed kind of the specifics out here. So you can see Microsoft Teams, Operator Connect, and we have details on it. Next, we'll have our hours of operation. Very important that the agent knows when you're open and close. What we've seen a lot of companies doing is actually getting away from the open and closed using the AI agent because they're able to answer questions and respond in a timely manner even after hours. Next, we have our FAQs. So these are frequently asked questions, and this is really I would say, the meat and potatoes of an AI agent. One of the biggest ROI measurements is how many repeat calls for your address or whether or not you practice this particular type of law or whether or not you have pepperoni pizzas. I don't think pretty much every pizza shop does, but the amount of times if you ask the person that takes calls that they get calls that are just the same questions over and over, it would surprise you. And so the AI agent's able to just take those frequently asked questions and give them good answers. Now, it's not going to read this verbatim. Um, it's going to give them context based on the questions that they're asking. So it's a really good tool. And again, everything in here is editable. It trained itself based on our website, but if anything isn't what I want to say, or maybe it found a product on our website that we're no longer supporting, we can just go in and remove it or add to it. Next, we have our team members. Found Sumner Robinson. He's our Chief Technology Officer. And you can see a short little bio, nothing dramatic in here. This is very helpful if you get calls, where people are asking about your board of directors. General contents. So this is very useful for giving the agent additional information, maybe specific to your industry, jargon, or specific to Ben's last name. It's very confusing. So we're telling the agent how to pronounce Smagas. But we can also put in other information about certain law that we practice or anything else that may come up in conversation that doesn't fit any of these other categories explicitly. Specialties. So any specialties, OneCloud, we have a lot of them, cloud solutions, artificial intelligence, cloud communications, on and on. And then call routing. So this is where we'll see what the agent learned about our system and how it thinks that it could transfer calls. We have what we call routing rules, and these are keywords or phrases that a person may say or they may intend, and then the destination. And what I mean by they may intend, so our AI agent works off intent, not just keywords and phrases. For instance, if I call in and I say, I want to pay my bill, or I have a question about an invoice, and we don't have a keyword that says bill or invoice, but we do have billing, it's going to recognize that, okay, they want to talk to the billing department. Let me transfer it over to our sales director. Now, this is a demo system. Hopefully, you're not transferring billing questions to your sales director, but if you so desire, you can. Above that, we have transfer by name. So you're probably familiar with the IVR auto attendant dial by name directories that we've been used to forever, where you press pound and then you use T9 if you're old enough to remember what T9 is to dial in a person's last name or first name. And then it tells you that they've got 10 Robinsons and you don't know which Robinson you want to talk to. So we built a better version of that in our AI agent. So transfer by name, if you call in and you say, I want to talk to Sumner Robinson, it has access to the phone system. Again, very important. It is part of the phone system. It is just another user on the phone system. So it has access to the company directory, and it can say, okay, we've got Sumner Robinson and Brian Robinson. Which one do you want to talk to? Hopefully they remember who's who. Or, they can just pick one and then the other one will transfer them over to the next one. This is really helpful in places where you may have turnover, where you don't want to have to constantly go in and update your auto attendant or your AI agent. You really just need, when the user is updated, the agent now knows about the new user, or if somebody left, it's no longer going to route to them. So it makes it a bit of set it and forget it. After you've done everything around the AI agent's kind of behavior, we have what we call actions. Now, actions are split into two different types. We have in-call actions, which is information that the agent can use while in a call or interact with. And then we have post-call actions, which are things that happen after the agent is done. So in-call actions, maybe you want to qualify a lead or look up a contact, or, use a calendar integration. So for example, if you call me, I no longer have a voicemail. All right. If I'm unavailable, instead of it routing to my voicemail, it routes to my AI agent, my executive assistant, uh, who can qualify whether or not you're selling something that I may not be interested in, or if you are simply trying to get a hold of me because we've had conversations before. And it can send you via text message a link to my calendar. And then you can immediately book time with me. So that eliminates that inefficient you leaving me a voicemail, me trying to call you back, you not being available then, because we're all busy, and us going back and forth, eventually sending emails with just a link to schedule time. Instead, it can all be handled in one call. And then post actions, we need to take that information and put it into our CRM or into our workflows, or just email it out to somebody if it's a new lead, etc. Now, the post call actions aren't just limited to what we have here. We also have our suite of integrations that work for all users on the system. So again, the AI agent is just another user on the system. And so you're able to use our existing integrations to take what the AI agent did and put it into your existing CRM, or workflow, Pipedrive, Zapier, all those low code, no code workflow solutions. And so what that might look like is, we've got in our CRM a call that I made, and it's got follow-up information in it. It's got explanations in it. I'm able to use my CRM to flag calls that may be about a user canceling or about a user um, unhappy with service. And then the link to the recording is directly in the CRM. So I can just click on it and get all the information about that call. If I didn't log it into a CRM, I still have access to all this call data. So I'm able to jump into the AI agent's call history, and I can go through and look at what happened in each call. Now with that, I'm going to play you a quick demo. Share audio.
Thank you for calling Mario's Pizza in Clemens. I can assist with a carryout order, checking an order status, or other basic information. What can I help you with today?
Yes, I'd like to place an order for carryout, please.
Great! I'll need your name and phone number to get started on your order.
My name is Jim Kelly, and my number is 716-595-1234.
Thank you, Jim. What would you like to order today?
Yes, can I get a large pepperoni pizza with mushrooms, please?
Just to confirm, that's a 19-inch pizza with cheese, pepperoni, and mushrooms. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I've added a large pepperoni pizza with mushrooms to your order. Your total so far is $29.91, including tax. Would you like to add anything else to your order?
Can I add an order of wings, please?
Would you like boneless wings or traditional wings?
Traditional wings, please.
For the traditional wings, we have two sizes, 6 pieces and 12 pieces. Which size would you like?
12 piece.
What sauce would you like for your wings? Here are your options: honey barbecue, sweet chili, teriyaki, buffalo, mild, lemon pepper.
Can I get
Or
buffalo?
would you like ranch, blue cheese, or another dressing with that?
Blue cheese, please.
I've added a 12-piece order of traditional wings with buffalo sauce and blue cheese dressing to your order. Your total is now $51.85, including tax. Would you like to add anything else?
Nope, I'm good to go.
Would you like me to submit this order? Payment will
Yes.
be due. Perfect. Your order has been submitted to the restaurant. You can call back anytime to check your order status using this phone number. Thank you for your order and have a great day.
So there's a few things that I want to call out that that agent did that you may or may not have picked out on. So Ben, when he called it, he asked for a large pizza. Well, this pizza place doesn't have larges. They measure all their pizzas by sizes. So you can see it confirmed with him that he wanted a 19-inch pizza with mushroom and pepperoni. The other thing is that when it was offering him the different salsas for the wings, he interrupted it and he said buffalo. And the agent took that information and continued moving on with the conversation. It didn't get stuck on, okay, I need to finish listing everything. One thing that isn't played in this demo is that because it's tied into the Heartland POS system, the agent actually knows when you're out of ingredients. So if you're out of, tomatoes, which if you're a pizza place and you're out of tomatoes, good luck. But if you were out of tomatoes, it knows it can't make a margarita pizza. And so it's not going to let that order process. It's not just simply taking the order and then emailing it to somebody to type in. It is actively integrated with that Heartland POS system and placing that order directly in. And with that, I will hand it back over to Ben.
All right. Thank you, Sumner. Sorry about that. I apparently have two mute buttons and too many things to share at once. But Sumner, I really appreciate that. I know it's a lot of information. I just want to say that, a lot of people, AI is a huge world right now. And there's a lot of different things going on with it. One thing to point out about our AI is, when Sumner initially demonstrated that the AI will go out, scan your website, and capture information. It puts it in this repository, and that's all the information or the knowledge that it has. So it's not going out and reaching out into other destinations. And then anything that you augment or add to that is just adding to that knowledge base. That can certainly grow. Let's say if you have a lot of maybe white papers or some information that you want to add to it, That's when you start leaning into a lot more of the professional development and the professional services, because you start looking into things like vector databases. AI does not look at a knowledge base like human beings do. So there's a lot of different things to do, and I'm already getting some outstanding questions here. So I'll close this out so we get to the questions. But I did want to point out here. So we've got some partners on here, we've got internal folks, we've got some customers. Why this matters is that if you're not answering these calls, somebody else is going to do it. So if you're, whatever industry you're in, whatever company you are in, revenue is what promotes growth. Growth is how your company continues to move forward. And the better way, and the ways that you can make that more efficient is always important. And that's booking those appointments, capturing those calls, offloading that busy work. If you are an existing customer, you are already eligible for a free trial. We are currently offering free trials to our customers. If you are an office manager, we can certainly help you figure out how to get that set up. You'll get up to 90 minutes of free calls or up to 50 calls total, whichever comes first. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and open this up here for some questions. I had a couple. Sumner Jim had dropped a question in there about connecting to other systems. Maybe we'll want to start with that one. So at the bottom of your screen, there's a little taskbar. In that bar, if you click that hand, you can raise your hand, and one of our moderators will go ahead and answer some questions for it, or unmute you so we can answer some questions. So I'll go ahead and open it up.
Yeah, so to answer to integrating other systems, so there's two main ways of doing it. There's others possible as well. It's the best one is SIP trunks if the system is capable of doing SIP trunks. The other possibility is over PSTN. So you can just have a phone number that your agent routes to, and you can route to that phone number for the agent.
And for some of you as well, I was getting some private messages there. Kevin Gallagher here is our channel manager as well. He can be reached out to directly as well. I've already gotten some requests to set up some demos and get some things talking. So make sure you capture that information.
Yeah, and I see Ezra asked the question about whether or not you can disable the ding dong. Yes, you can.
Curtis, you should be good.
Cool. Hey, Ben, Sumner, thank you for this. I appreciate all the effort you guys have put into it. I think what's cool about this product is it's such an easy conversation to have if approached the right way. You're not necessarily barging in the door to replace an individual, but to potentially augment that individual to make them more efficient and proficient at their current job or duty within the company. And I think the conversation around the value of a missed call and having the ability to impact top line revenue is such an easy conversation. Don't ever hesitate to have that. I would say that the demo live is way better than the demo pre-recorded. The beeps in between are not existent, and the pace of dialogue is significantly different. So I would encourage everyone to reach out to Ben, schedule a demo. We've done a lot of great demos. We've built some demos for some of our partners to use in front of their end users. Another way I've been positioning this as well as an executive assistant, right? A lot of us in the past have had them or currently have them, or we're outsourcing to a third party to do so. And the quality of the AI acting as an executive assistant at a fraction of the cost is awesome. And that executive assistant works 24/7, 365. So don't just pigeonhole the solution into an AI receptionist. It has the ability to be an answering service. It has the ability to be a receptionist, and it has the ability to be an executive assistant. If there is any outside the box things you want it to do, we do have some off the shelf plans, but we're also very open to individual case basis. So if you bring us a problem or you bring us a challenge that you're looking for the AI to solve, we'll work with you and try to come up with that solution. So again, I appreciate everybody's attendance. Ben, Sumner, remarkable job. Keep up the great work, and thanks everybody for attending.
Thank you. I'm going to hang out for, next 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions or wants to ping me in the message, feel free.
Yep, and just so everybody knows, we will be sending out a follow-up here shortly. It will be a follow-up email. We can include some contact information if you'd like to schedule a demo and a link to today's recording. But I'd also like to thank everybody for joining us today. And let us know what we can do to help.